Good evening. Welcome to the Gabe Leal Experience, the Unfiltered live show. I am your host, Annie Wu, for the evening. Tonight's show is going to be a little different because we're going to flip the script. I'll be at the host chair, firing and asking away all these questions. We are dying to know about the man behind the show himself, Gabe. If you are here joining us for the first time, thank you. You are so welcome here. Please head over to the YouTube channel and click on that notification button, that little bell button there. If you click on it, you will be notified every time there is a new show dropping or when there's a live like you are seeing now. We are currently at 1,000 subscribers and counting, and this is also where you'll be able to see all of the past seasons and past episodes.
Yeah, look, they said that I couldn't do it, so I went and did it. W's only, you know I've been winning. Top of the world, the globe is spinning. If you know, you know I've been on a mission. Go. Okay, let's get it. Got a little time on my hands like a wristwatch. I don't got time for the brakes and a pit stop. Race through the gridlock, take it like Chris Rock. Right to the chin, still win. Heavy metals like Slipknot. Got the driving, I got tunnel vision. I just hit my stride the way I run the business. I've been making paper like I'm Dunder Mifflin. See the end game, I got one division. Look, I don't ever bother with a critic. Hit him with a chronicle of Riddick. Boom, bottle full of Ritalin. I hit him with a little bit of riddle me this, riddle me that. My bad, fell asleep at the gas. No time to wait though. Elon Musk, I'm trying to bankroll. New Tesla just cause I say so. Electric whip like Ivan Van Gogh. I just did it. W's only, you know I've been winning. Top of the world, the globe is.
That's right. Chat, connect, collaborate, that's for sure. And it's definitely, I would definitely say that it's not every day that a live show has this much interaction like Gabe Leal's show. So you guys are definitely at a special place. You feel it, right? You're definitely feeling it. I'm feeling it. Oh man, everybody's here. Ken Dunner, hi. Savor the flavor. Nicole, hello. Oh man, Yolanda Chin, thank you so much all for being here. This is just, oh man, even the energy, everything right now is just happening. End of the year, like 2022 happened. Oh my gosh. So let me just real briefly introduce myself. My name is Annie Wu. For those of you who don't know, hi Raquel. Oh my gosh, starstruck. I'm a chocolatier and a filmmaker. Although these days I feel like I'm more behind the camera and building my CPG brand than I am in the kitchen. If you like my vibe, please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn at Annie Wu and my chocolate Instagram and YouTube at Sweet Duet Chocolate. Speaking of chocolates, we'll be right back after these messages.
Enjoy it. Oh my god, yes. I really do.
Thank you for that, Gabe. I really appreciate you for giving me that platform to put it on. Also, is Robert behaving? Because Gabe keeps going, oh, Robert, what's going on right now exactly? Huh? So, if you guys are checking out Gabe's show for the first time, you know what to do. Please head over to at the Gabe Leal Experience, and don't forget to click on that bell so you can get all of the updates. Also, You can find Gabe on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, live handle at Stream Tornado. And of course, we are live on our favorite LinkedIn platform, Unfiltered Live. Oh man. Hi, Raquel. I'm like, my first time, but I'm here doing it anyway. Oh man, Robert Barry. Hi. Oh, hi. Whatever. Okay. So, also, in case you guys didn't know, Gabe has a swag store, the Impro Media Swag Store. Please head over to www.mavensofmerch.com/Gabe Leal. And if you want to know who's behind all of that merch, check out Inky Black. www.inkyblack.design. Okay, wow. I think that was everything, right? We just went through all of this stuff. Everybody's here. My doggie's here. She's a little bit demanding these days, so I'm not even here just to like show off or anything. I'm just trying to, make her settle down a bit for the evening. So that's why we're here. This is Natty, everyone. So some of you guys may have heard of our guest tonight, maybe. He has so much amazing content out there. If you ever head over to the YouTube channel, you'll see that he is at 97 show is his show is this show tonight, 97 shows, and a bunch of other solid content. And he is a true success story. You'll be able to see all of the stuff that he's gone through. It's really, really, truly, I am very honored to be here today. And so without further ado, here is the man of the evening, Gabe Leal.
Oh my God. I am. Oh my gosh.
I'm glad you're here with me now. I was like, oh my God, this is like.
Oh my God. Thank you. First of all, what a wonderful job. I love that you've handled this so easily just for saying, you know what, look, folks, she took the time to say when we talked about this, she didn't even hesitate. She was like, let's do this. And I was like, absolutely. I love the concept when she reached out and said, I would love to ask you an interview on your show. So here I am. I am now in the other side, and it feels weird.
Yeah, we're going to get to know you a little bit today, aren't we?
We are. And I'm going to say I am excited for this opportunity, because it's not very often that I get to be placed on the other side and having all these questions. So now I just kind of told you before we went live, like I feel nervous again, and I haven't felt nervous for a lot of these shows, and it's been a very long time since I've had butterflies. So here we are.
Welcome to Gabe Leal's Unfiltered Live.
Well, no. This is tonight, Annie Woo's Unfiltered Live. Let's get that right.
Oh, okay.
This is your show. I am just a guest here tonight. So I am honored to be sitting in this chair and ready to have this conversation with you. It's fun. I'm excited again. Like I said, I'm thrilled. I feel like a little kid again.
Definitely. Yeah. I was definitely like going through all of your YouTube stuff, and I really truly was thinking to myself, you know how they say these days, like, there's all these success stories, but you don't see all of the hard work that goes through doing all this, right? And going through some of these videos, you can tell, I mean, it's not every day it's roses and butterflies and all that, like you're pushing through. And I remember we kind of mentioned a little bit of that, because then you asked me the question, do you ever get tired of chocolate, right? Mm-hmm. So did you, during this journey of doing these lives every single day, did you ever get tired of doing these interviews?
Yeah, it's a loaded question, but yes, there have been points where I have got tired of wanting to sit down and do these interviews. That's kind of part of why I had decided to do my solo monologue shows. Is because there were times that I didn't want to sit down and talk with somebody, but I just wanted to talk. There have been times where I don't even want to sit in front of a camera. So yeah, I've experienced the whole idea of saying I don't want to do this. But there's also, again, this is why I say it's a loaded question, because there have been days, Annie, where I didn't feel like I wanted to do this. There have been times I did not feel like I had the energy to do these things. And yet, the moment that I sat down in a chair and actually had the interview afterwards, I felt like a different person. Like some of those interviews and talking with some of these people and hearing their stories and their journeys, um, like that kind of invigorates you to want to continue on. So yeah, there are your moments where you're just sick of it and you're like, I don't want to do the production. I don't want to do nothing. I just want to sometimes just turn on the TV and veg out, not or read a book, like grab something and not. Or for a while for me, it was go out on a run, like clear my mind, do things that will free away from sitting here and having the commitment of doing this. So yeah, I get tired of it, but then I also think to myself, what else have you taken from sitting down and having these interviews? And I always go back and I think about it, and then it kind of gives me just enough, again, motivation to continue going on. And um, I mean, you get a point where you find a stride again, and you're like, okay, I'm doing it again, or you do what you did, you kind of switch things up. Right, you switch things back up and do something like what we're doing tonight, totally different. This kind of like this, like
But the same, different but the same. You know, we're still here. We're still here for your people, but we're switching things up a bit, and it's kind of fun.
it is, and that's what I said. I felt the fun, like tonight. I felt like I could do another 25 shows if I wanted to, if I was going to do something like this. And like currently constructed the way it is, I'm ready to honestly, I'm ready to hang up for a while and do this. But this is different. Like this feels fun again, and not that I wasn't having fun before, but this is a different kind of fun. Like this is a different sort of feel and vibe to what's going on here. So, um, I think to myself, like, man, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this earlier? But again, things happen the way they're supposed to happen for a reason. And it's going to give me, honestly, it's going to give me a lot to think about when I go into doing what my next reiteration of doing my shows and whatever live streams are. Cause I know I will be back. I know myself, but always think about like how to reevaluate and change things up, and maybe this sort of format of saying every other week I'm going to be looking for a guest host, or maybe even finding somebody to collaborate with on doing this on a regular thing would be something I would be interested in doing. And it would take a different level of, again, fun to do this.
There's some people that need to come on here, by the way. And by the way, guys, I mean, like, the only reason I'm here is because I'm just kind of like, I don't know, you need to. There's so many people, man. You have, like, seriously, like Raquel, I just saw her mentioned here. She'd be amazing. She's going to bring so many people. And, like, it would be just, yeah, you're going to have so much fun doing it.
Yeah. And again, I say I love the different angle of what this was. That's why I was ready to jump on and do this. Because again, it opens up, it even opens up my creative mind to say, I don't have to. I mean, not that I don't have to do some of the work behind it, but then I get to kind of share the load and collaborate with somebody, and to me, this is fun. This is a fun experience in getting to do this. So
Definitely.
that's why I said I love sitting on the side of the chair. I love getting asked these questions. So thank you
Yeah.
for asking
So
that. It opened me up a little bit.
I do want to go back now, like,
Okay.
because I'm sure not a lot of people know all of your backstory. Everybody knows that you do the Unfiltered Live, that you're almost nearing 100. You're 3 shows short of 100 shows. Man, so mad, mad, mad respect, seriously. But we don't know how you got there. Like, what got you to ring a bell? Did someone inspire you? Like, how did that even start for you?
Whew. Okay, this always this gives me chills every time that. Again, it was 2018. Um, Different me, different times. It was a dark, cold room. Nothing around me. Blackness. I was um, I was not in any kind of particular way, shape, or form that I felt like I would ever find anything that would drive me or inspire me.
When you say blackness, are you talking, were you depressed?
Yeah, I mean, I was depressed. You name it, anxiety, depression, all those things that people start feeling. Um, I had honestly, I had felt like I had no hope. Like there
What
was,
on your in your professional life during that time?
well, during this time, I had actually, I was recovering. I was recovering from an injury, and I actually wasn't working at this point. And here it was, I was I was a sole provider for my then family and wife at the time. Um, and everything around me felt like all the walls were caving in, and every day was a struggle to get up and sometimes exist, not even live, just exist, like get up. And there were moments that I thought that was a moment that I said, I never thought that I could get to this point, but I did, where you think about ending it all, like really thinking about like, how could I do this? Take a whole bunch of pills, call it a day, and walk away from life. And um, it was it was a friend who we had been connected for a long while, but I hadn't heard from her in a couple months. And of all things, there I am in a dark room, nothing on, just cold. Had my head under the covers. I was actually on my couch weeping, and uh, message shows up from my friend Kate Stewart, and it was it was a Matthew, of all things, it was a Matthew McConaughey video that said, he said again, I think you need to hear this. It was out of the blue, nothing. I said, we haven't had a communication in a couple months. She just sent it to me in a private message. I looked at it for the moment. I hit play, and everything that he talked about and shared in that video, I think for whatever reason, I had to be in that place for all my walls to be let down and for nothing to be standing in my way. And it really just touched me to a point where, again, I'm sorry, guys. Um, I excuse me, it made me tear up. And I was just watching, and it gave me the things that I needed in that moment. It was hope. It was a light in a moment of darkness that I really needed. And listening and watching and taking that in totally changed my life. Everything that's happened since then, everything that has shifted in my life changed from that moment on. And I knew that from that moment on that I would never, ever go back to that place again. And I, I started, I literally started the next day in looking into things to kind of help me change everything about me, who I was, what I believed, I went on this long journey of discovery, and I started to find myself, and I kind of started to slowly and gradually find my voice in life and what that was for me. So, um, without, I think without being without being in that moment and being in that place, I don't think I'm here. Like, I don't think I'm here, um, breathing. I don't think I am as a person, even if I had decided to continue going on. I don't think I'm ever at this point where I was sitting in front of a camera without that moment. And it was funny, but me and my friend, the one that sent me the video, we actually had a conversation not too long ago, and I literally just told her thank you, and she was like caught off guard because I had never like sat down and told her that story, and you
Realize
know,
that she pulled you out of that.
yeah, and I was like, I said, you don't know um what that moment was for me. And, I don't know except to tell you thank you and express a lot of gratitude to her. Um, because, again, it started me on a different path, and it started me down a place where um, never in my wildest dreams could I have imagined that I would be here doing this, doing any of these things that I've done now, Ben. And I will always be, and I told her I will always be eternally grateful for that, no matter what. Um, so, for me, that that was what got me shifted in my mind to start changing things. And then the thing is, it taught me a lesson too, because I've had other moments where things have been uh, not the best. Like when I went through my separation and eventual divorce and all the stuff that happened after that. But I felt like I could handle it then. Like I felt like I could handle all that stuff because where I came from and where it was is that I could handle all of these things, and anything after that became, I don't want to say easy, but it became manageable to deal with. Like so that really brought me from one place of being, again, moments away of again thinking about how to end it all, to now thinking like I would never in a million years take myself down that path anymore. Like I never will. And it's part of why I continue. It's why I continue to help others like find that voice for themselves, put themselves out there in the world, shift and change things in their own lives because somebody did it for me. Like she did that for me without even knowing it. And that was amazing. And then even getting here and doing this whole live stream, my live stream mentor, Russ Johns, who I will always be grateful for, because without him, I'm not here doing this again, is that he took a chance on a unknown quality or a product or person and just said, I will absolutely share with you my time. And it got me started down this path. And here I am. Without those two people, and there have been others, but without those people, they were integral parts of all of this now, and what I've continued to do and what I will continue to do, what I will
That's right.
continue to going forward. So
I remember you did mention your mentor. You said you're actually going to be visiting him soon, Phoenix.
yeah, so in February, I'm trying to make sure to go out there in Phoenix to go visit him, because um, the one thing I want to do is just give him a hug, man, and say thank you. I all these things that have opened up was because of that. And that was it's pretty powerful for somebody to just say, absolutely, I'll give you a moment of my time. If you, you know, you, if you're that interested, if you're that driven, and you're that, um, you're that passionate about wanting to learn about something, 9 times out of 10, people will open that door for you, even if it's for a moment, and that's all you need. And ever since then, I've never looked back. So those things have been such a eye-opening thing for me, that it changed my world, and I just want to be reciprocal of it to somebody else. So that's why I bring people on my own show here and invite them on, and if I get to see somebody open up and flourish and do that for somebody else, that is, to me, that's a gift.
Honestly, that's how I feel right now here. I'm like, who am I? You've been at this for over 4 years, and all of a sudden, some person comes in. We did a nice little unfiltered live together. I was so
Mhm.
grateful for that opportunity, a really, really good time of connection. And then I was just kind of like, you really, I felt like you had a lot to say that you didn't really get to say much, even though you spoke a lot.
Hmm.
You spoke every single evening, and yet there's a lot that you actually haven't really unleashed into the world yourself. So I was like, it, I thought it would be kind of fun. So I asked, and then you said yes, and I'm like, wow, like I feel so grateful to share space with you.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it. That's part of the again the part of being open to these sort of things and being reciprocal to what others have done for me. Like, and if I were to shut that off, like I would just be spiting everything that has brought me to this point, and I definitely do not want to do that or ignore that in any way, shape, or form. So, yeah, that's kind of the thing that it continues to do it, and now finding ways to make it even more fun and creative. Then, yeah, I'm absolutely going to do that, and um, it's again, it's an honor to do this every single night. And I do not want that to be lost on everybody who comes in here every single night. And even if it's for 10 seconds to stop in and say hello, you don't know what that means and how much it really adds not only value to what we get to do here, but then, what we get to grow and show as a community here. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
And
beautiful.
I love, by the way, you guys are amazing. I love all the love that's happening. We're talking, obviously we're having a pretty deep conversation here, but there's so much love happening, and there's also interaction. So Nicole just asked, what was the biggest obstacle you faced in this journey? I guess you kind of explained, right? Your
Hmm.
um
I think one of the biggest obstacles that I had to face was me getting in my own way of things, of
oh,
actually being able to say I can do this and be really good at it. Like, there were moments where I question myself. Like, one of the things that I always do is and I've said this from the very beginning, I look at pinpoints, and I always think of our life as a timeline, and I always take times to look at pinpoints and say, okay, let me reevaluate it. Am I doing this? Is it making any kind of headway? Am I getting out of value out of it? Am I sharing anything with other people? Are people finding enjoyment in what I'm doing? And there have been moments where I really questioned that. I mean, there was,
legitimate questions, though, totally legitimate, because you could have all this dream and just go for it, and then it's just like not yielding literally anything. You're
Mhm.
not growing as a person, you're not improving on your thing, or perhaps.
Yes.
So these are nice to kind of like quarterly, yearly sort of reports, kind of like reassess whether it's working out for you. Are you feeling good about it? Also, all that.
Yeah. And that's the whole, there were times, like I said, where I thought about it and I said, do I, do I continue, do I continue pushing on? Is there something beyond that is there something beyond what I've already started doing that I have yet to discover? And that's kind of what's kind of made me continue to go forward with each and every time that I have done this in all the past seasons that I've created and all the stuff that I've been doing over the last 4.5 years. Is that, as I look at getting close to doing this now almost 5 years, right? It really puts a light on everything. And it has shown me that, you know what? Yes, you've only done 5 years, Gabe, and guess what? There's actually still more left to discover. Like, you're just still getting to a point where you're, somebody told me this, you're growing into your greatness. Like, it takes time sometimes to figure that out for what that is for you. So, and I do. And it's one of the things why I continue to do what I do. And I wear a bracelet every day. I wear a bracelet every day that says believe in yourself. So
Believe in.
when I get to a point of where, again, I question things or I want to do these things, I have this bracelet on, and that's what it says. It says believe in yourself. And if I look down on it and I just sit for a minute for whatever's going on, it kind of just recenters me again and says, okay, all the things you've done have led you here, man. continue to go forward and continue to keep doing what you're doing. So they are, that was, like I said, myself at times has been one of my biggest obstacles, but I'm also learning how to actually work past that. Like like I'm about to change and shift a whole different way of what I'm doing now. Um, I'm gonna go change a lot of things in my own journey, and part of it is sharing um, kind of what we're talking about tonight in not only spoken form but in written form, and putting myself out there on a whole nother level. And yeah, the whole reason this hasn't happened already is because, again, I stood in my own way. I was the thing that has been the roadblock to my own, really, to my own success. So
And also points out that she's also trying not to be in her own way. And everybody here is rooting for you, man. Like Shelly, Steven, Charlene,
oh yeah,
Nicole, affirmation, believe in yourself. They're all rooting for you. They understand what it's about.
yep,
The gift of giving keeps on giving, Raquel.
yes,
Absolutely. I think everyone totally understands you, like
yeah.
it's hard not to understand you. You speak also of your experiences so eloquently.
Yeah. Well, I think it's sometimes it's your journey. Like, it is your life. Like, look back on it. And one of the things that I've always talked about it, and I didn't do this season because I wanted this season to be different. But in my past seasons, I've always asked a question of, because this is a question I've asked myself, so I wanted to ask other people. But it was like, when your life is said and done, what do you want to be remembered for? What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? Like, I was always so interested in what that is for me as an individual. Like, what do I want to be remembered for? Like, what are the things, like, what I'm creating here now will be part of my legacy. And there's still
Yes.
yet more that's going to be added to that. But
Yes.
I want to be remembered for somebody who was caring and giving and gave of himself. And again, that's why I talk and say the things that I do at the end of the show. If you live, learn, and serve like no one else, again, you're going to change the world around you. And I feel like if you actually do those things, your life and everything in it will change. But you have to commit to those sort of things, and don't lie to yourself. Like, that's the one thing I've still, that's the one thing that I'm still working with and struggling with, is like, do not lie to yourself. When you sit there and you say, Gabe, can you do this? Can you commit to this? Can you, all these things, like, don't lie to yourself. Say, you know what? I can't, or yes, I'm all in on this. Or, so like, I'm still figuring all this out. And I don't know anybody who's got it all figured out, and to sit there and question their own lives. But again, these are our lives. These, again, we are the owners of our tales, of our journeys, and we get to craft it. I mean, that was the thing when I used to read, the whole pick your own adventure thing was always a fun
Me too.
thing as a
Love
kid.
it.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
always could have, you picked how the story was going to end. That's our lives, guys. You get to pick how everything
It's
is.
very yes. We have all of everything is within us, and we get to basically say what goes.
Yeah. And that's why I say, like, my life and the things that have happened in my past, they are part of me. I will never not acknowledge that. They're the fabric of who Gabe is now. And they don't have to always shift and control what I am into the future, but they will always be a part of me, and they will always be integral in kind of what drives me, what motivates me, what burdens me at times. So all those things, they all added up. And I want to be able to, again, to share and craft my story, because I think there will become a point where I know there is, where I will no longer be on this planet, but the things that I've opened up, what I've talked about, what I've shared, will still be here. Um, and they will at some point make an impact on somebody else, and hopefully, um, you know, at a period that when they need it, my own kiddos will be able to go back and watch some of these shows and figure out who their dad was, who hit the fabric of what he was, and maybe learn a little bit more about me than you
Very
know
special. I haven't even thought about that.
yeah, like I think about it
We're
and
the first generation that can leave behind these types of things.
yeah.
Never happened before, right?
Yes, and that's the thing. That's
Wow.
the most incredible thing about all of this is that I get it. So I'm going to use this as an example. So say if you were to write a book, and not that I'm saying that what you share in a book will not be detailed, but there's something more that goes to it aesthetically when you're also adding a visual, an audio to go along with that. So when somebody sees these tales here of what we're sharing, they're going to get a different, they're going to get a different learning experience from somebody who just read words. And not that I don't say words are powerful. Words mean a lot of things. That's how we learn a lot of the times. But we also learn through communication, how we're doing this now. So we are another generation putting these things out into the world, and who knows how long these things will last. I mean, Van Gogh didn't think a Van Gogh painting would last all these years and would be so valuable. So who knows where these things will land and what they're going to mean to somebody else. But I think if I don't create them, no, they're not there. Nobody ever learns, nobody ever sees, and nobody knows what I go into, and I just fade into existence. And that's, I don't know. To me, that's why I say legacy is important. Like I think my own experience of like learning what my past elders would have been like would have changed dramatically had I had something like this to go back and look upon, apart from just seeing photos and images. Um, that's why I say even things like music are very powerful, because there's also, you can just look at I'm just going to use this example, but you can look at a photo of Billie Holiday, but then there's something about hearing her sing that carries another point of emotion. And I think video just adds another level to that.
Absolutely. You know me. I believe in the future of video. Video's it.
It
It's gonna
is,
touch people
you know,
in ways that just merely sound alone
yeah,
doesn't.
yeah.
Mhm.
And I again I never I never look at any of these and um say that I wish I hadn't done them. To me, everything that I create and I put out in the world has to be there and exist for a reason. So yeah, I don't hold back on what I get to talk about or what I get to share. Um, to me, it is the real point of living, and the real point of existence is what I'm getting to do now. And I'm lucky. I'm blessed. You know. So
You are blessed indeed. You're doing it. I mean, that's where it's at. You're just doing it.
and I don't know. Again, I don't know um, where where my journey takes me in 10 years. But what I do know is that no matter what, I will always have this 4.5, 5 year period to always look back on, and at any one point sit down and look back. And again, when I say I look at life in a at a timeline, I will be able to look back on this timeline and look back at myself. Like I've realized something. Like I've journaled, and I've shared this before. I've journaled a lot since I was about 17 years old.
Wow.
There's something about reading your own words, and then I'm
Mm.
starting to realize there's something even more about seeing yourself.
I would say that this is absolutely true. As a videographer, it's really interesting to capture people and then watch their response as they are watching themselves in the most intimate, unfiltered way.
Hmm.
There's something different with the cell phone, by the way, when you're like talking to yourself on cell phone, but there's something different when you're having a real connection or the camera is somewhere else. They learn something from them about themselves that they've never known before, actually. Isn't that so wild?
Yes. And it's why I say this is so powerful. Like
It's powerful.
you want to know
You don't
this.
even know how powerful this is
Th-
until you watch it later, literally.
yes. And
Hindsight.
yes, Tanya, it is intense watching yourself. Like that's a good word. Intense to see yourself. So imagine seeing yourself now and in 5 years from now when you're at a different part of your life and if things have changed all around you, to go back and watch like what that was and how you were, like it's instantaneously going to take you back. Like it's going to take you back so quickly into that moment. Like that is why I love doing video and doing any kind of thing where I'm on camera. Like there is no hiding things.
And I
Like
have a question for you. Wouldn't
mhm.
you say, and I don't know if it's just me feeling this, but I do really believe that the world is going through a massive transformation right now. Like everybody is just changing at a rapid pace. You know what I mean? Like I'm literally within the last like 2 years, 3 years, maybe it's been happening longer and I wasn't aware of it. But this time we're just changing and changing. Are you seeing your transformation happen in real time? Because that's what I saw when I was watching the YouTube videos.
Yes, I have, and it's a thing. You see your own maturation, like going from wherever point A is until wherever you are currently now, and like it has been one of those. Again, it's been one of those things that when you go back and watch, and look, when I first started doing video, I hated watching myself. Like I hated watching myself from the beginning. And it wasn't until I think last year when I started going back that I really started intently looking at my older videos and seeing how much I've changed and sort of flourished from those moments because again, you learn a skill set or you learn different ways to start learning how to communicate. You become more confident. You become all these things that change around you. Like I go back now and I watch videos that I've done with other people who I thought at the time were pretty big or somebody that I was kind of thrilled to interview. And I look back and I said, I, me now doing that interview back then would have been a hell of a lot different at that moment. Cause I would have, like, I look at it now and I go, shit, why didn't I ask this question? Like, like, why didn't I think about that? But that was me 2.5, 3 years ago looking back then. And I was still very fresh, very new to the idea of doing these things. So yeah, I love watching how I've matured now. Like I go back and, yeah, at times they still make me cringe, but
The further you're away from that time, the better, right? The easier it is to handle.
yeah,
Like if when it's been 5 years ago, whatever, and it's like further and further away.
yeah. And, and it's been one of those things that I, again, think about and say to myself that that is, that is a different guy back then to where I am now.
Okay,
And
before it passes, there's a question here.
yes,
Broad, low. What are your thoughts on the transformation? Bring it up.
I'll pull it up here as a comment here so we can actually see it
What are
there.
your thoughts on the transformation happening to the American people via social media platforms, and has the censorship affected your content? And
Uh,
has it
has
affected
it
your content?
has it affected my content? Not at all.
Oh,
Not the way that I do things. So there's a reason it's called Unfiltered Live. Like
yes.
I want the ability to say what it is you're going to say. Um, because again, we are in a society where cancel culture sort of, you know,
Sorry.
yeah, I know.
Ridiculous over there, but we will. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
but that's to me, that is where, I wanted to be able to have a place for people to share their thoughts, like be able to say things. And not feel weird or pressured or anything about it. Like, you know, I'm look, and this is just in all censorship of saying this. The idea of censorship is that if I have to shut down one person, then I have to shut down everybody. And it's, to me, censorship should be equal and fair. You may not like what somebody has to say, and I'm sorry. That's just the way life is, though. Like, people are going to do and say things that you're not going to like. How are you going to dismantle all of that? I'm sorry, you cannot dismantle hate. Hate will be here as long as love is here. I totally believe that, because you have to have an equal and centered opposite. You can't have light without dark, or it has no meaning. You cannot have love without hate. You cannot have peace without war. Those things will always coincide. And for me to say you can have one without the other, I don't think that is logical. And I don't think it's fair to keep one away from the other. Like, I've always thought about why I wanted to do this show, was that I did want this. I did want somebody to be able to say and do things and feel okay with it, and
Right.
and not to
Don't
have to feel shamed.
walk away if you don't like it. That's very true. And as people who hear something that might fluster us a little bit, it is up to us to respond to it in a very graceful manner and just put our own boundaries up. Know that nothing is going to rattle us in such a way to get such a reaction out of us.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and that's the thing. And not that it's something that I want to say I condone, but I'm just saying you have to have the open ability to have it out there in the world. So
Yeah.
if you live in this world and you want to live, breathe, and salute the American flag, and then there's somebody right over there burning it, I'm not going to be angry about it. Like, I will do the things to make the other things to make it proud if that's how I want to feel about it. And that's just how life lives and exists. I mean, again, we know the counterbalance of what life is. It's death. It still happens. Like, I don't care. It still happens. Yeah, you know what? It happens at a bigger rate in this. And believe me, I live in a state where there's a lot of things that people do not agree about, and you might believe in a lot of bigotry and all the things that might happen. That's just here. I'm not going to go into any further than that. But what I'm saying is this: even if you take away things like all the guns, death still happens. Death still happened before guns were invented. Death will come. Life and death will always exist. Love and hate will always exist. Again, you have to have a counterbalance to everything in life. And I'm sorry, we're not always going to be happy with what the results are. So hopefully that answers your question of why I say it has not changed how I approach what I do on this show. Some people will not like me. They will not tune in anymore. Okay. I am fully aware of that, and I wake up okay with it, and I live with it. And that's just this is how I feel about those sort of things. So yeah, that is.
Love it. I love it. Well said. Beautifully said. Thank you for that.
Yes. So thank you for asking the question, Roz.
Yes, absolutely, Roz. So I did want to start sort of getting a little sense of what's happening here, right?
Yeah.
You've got some plans and you have stuff, rolling off here. You have thoughts. I want to hear about them.
Yeah.
What's
So
happening?
a lot of things are going to be happening right now, emotional wise. I'm going to tell you, like, I am on a heightened level right now because as much as I love what I do here, and it's sometimes at some of the things that I get also tired of doing, walking away from all of this here in a few days, it hasn't hit me yet, but it will. Because there's, again, you see how amazing these people are. You see how incredible everybody that's here that shows up every night, all the people that bring in, share their comments, and um, to ask people to be here and spend time with me on a nightly basis. I mean, it's a again, it's a big commitment to ask somebody, but yet here they are doing it. And again, I'm always going to be grateful for that. So yeah, as I move forward away from finishing out 100 episodes on Friday, you know, I'm going to sit down again with myself and unplug everything. Like, I'm not going to have any social media on. I'm not going to do anything. You know, those who know me, know how to get a hold of me, will. But like, I will disappear for a little while because I feel like there is a time and a place for Gabe that has to exist, and I have to go visit with myself and recenter everything and you know, look at myself again, all over again. And then once I come to terms with that, then it's going to move forward. And yeah, I have other things in my life that I'm pursuing and chasing. You know, again, public speaking is one that I want to do because I want to help other people. I want to motivate people. Again, the written word and the spoken book.
Right, I think, or something.
What's that?
Do you have something coming up, or you've done a speech recently?
Yeah, so I've done a speech recently. So what I'm planning on doing now is to take what I've learned in doing that speech and then going out and sort of formulating what it is that I want to go talk about and share out into the world. So those things are on my to-do list for 2023 as I move forward. But again, part of it is just making sure, you know, it's just making sure that once I sit down with myself and feel okay with everything, that's exactly what I want to do. Like, I don't know, in that moment, things could change. I could be sitting there and something just hits me differently, and I'm going to, you know, something says to shift into doing something else, then I will do that. Like, I will change course and follow whatever that is. But that's what that time is for. It's like for me to really get down to my inner self again. And
Yeah. No
reconnect.
noise. Sometimes, you know what? No matter how much boundary you set up, sometimes that energy is very hard to deflect. It comes in noises, noises, noises. Even if it has nothing to do with you know, right? It's just all these noises, and that interjects with all the ongoings in your own mind. I have absolute respect for you wanting to take this time for you so that you can really go into the core of yourself and figure out what might be next. And I also love the vulnerability of you just like being open for
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. I gotta let whatever's supposed to hit me in that time period come to me. Like I said, that video that changed my life hit me at a point when I needed it, and that my walls were down and everything was so open that it helped change the course of my life. I don't know if that could happen to me again. So I have to allow myself to sit with that for however long, like I said, that is, and then just go allow it to happen. If it is, hey, let's stay steady with the course, then let's go ahead and start doing this, you know, all in, start following those things that you need to do, like get everything broken down into a structure that you can follow. Or like I said, if it's something that just hits me so differently in those moments, then I'm going to change it. So
Go ahead.
So that's what I plan to do once we get past Friday.
Okay, so does that mean like you sort of going for your runs, also doing more meditation? Like, tell me, like activities?
Oh, yes. So that will go back to running a lot more, being more again with myself, and you know, take that time for just myself to allow again life to happen. Like right now, like I love doing these shows again. I love these shows, but there's a commitment to doing this. So I know that a lot of my mind shift and my life have to kind of revolve a little bit around that. And once that goes away, once that's no longer on the table, like then the decisions change. Yeah. All of it goes again. And if it's like, hey, it's 7:15 or 8:15 Eastern Standard Time, if I want to go for a run, I go for a run. And that will be my life. And that's what I'm kind of excited to do that again, because that's before I started doing the show here in August. That's what I spent a lot of my time doing, was with myself and feeling that life and feeling all the energy and whatever the universe was giving me at that time around me, and just enjoying it. And
I love it. A Gabe sabbatical.
Yeah, I saw that and I said,
I wish I could hibernate with you, my friend. Who's the big spoon? Mike, are you the big spoon?
He's
or
a big
little
spoon.
Mike's the little spoon.
Yes, and like, that's another one, but
I don't run at 8:15. Exactly, little spoon.
So yeah, there's going to be lots of moments for me time, and I definitely look forward to more me time. Trust me. Yeah. Trust me, there are great things in just being able to sit with yourself. And I love the idea again of now having that. Like I feel like doing these shows and everything that I've done here has kind of, for the time being, got this out of my system. Like that's why I said there were points where I was starting to sit down and formulate the idea of doing this next 100 episodes that I'm about to finish. Like I sat down with myself and wrote out a game plan, and then from there it was literally structuring a date so that I could say I have a start point here and I have an end point here. And my end point that I wanted at the time was to be the end of the year, and that's what's going to happen. It's been fun, and it's something that, again, I know that I love doing, but then I also love myself as well, and I want to spend time with me. So
Good for you. Man, if more men in this world, did those practices, self-care, soothe their heart, all of that, can you imagine what kind of a world we'd be in? All of us. I can't just say that.
yeah,
I'm not being fair, but if all of us did it.
yeah.
So,
And I tell people, like, take those moments, like whatever that is, the small moments. A lot of those add up to very big things. Like, so in your life, when you get the moment, like, live it, man, enjoy it, because, there'll come a day where you'll sit back and you'll reminisce, and the longer that you know and understand what those moments were for you, that you're going to enjoy them. And that's, I don't ever want to overlook any of those things. So yeah, my life, I love to live at times very introspectively, and I want to be able to sit back with the time and say, not only did I love my live streaming time, but I loved my me time, my Gabe time as well. So
amazing.
That's the balance we have to learn. And it took me 2 seasons to figure that out. Like, to not take on too much of a workload, to not do too many things, and like to set that moment away for myself. And now that I know what that is for me, like, I'm okay with now, like, stepping away for a while and going away. And even if it comes to a point, like, life doesn't allow me to ever come back, I am satisfied with what I've done. And I will, if life tells me to move forward with it, I'll move forward with it. Like, I am, like I said, I've reached that point where I will be satisfied with whatever life has for me, moving forward. But it took a lot of time to get to that point, and it's been a very I've lived a very open, a very honest, a very authentic, a very vulnerable lifestyle for these last 4.5 years with everybody who's tuned in. So if anybody's ever been around, who's been around for a very long time, and just Roz has been one of those people who's been in and out of my life at different parts and different journeys. They know how I've spent my life and how I've shared everything about me. So there's no hiding what I've done and how I live my life. And I'm content with what everything is right now. And I've enjoyed it. And gotta say tonight was just another bookmark moment of why I've loved and been satisfied with what has happened. So it's been fun. And I got to tell you, thank you again for allowing me this space and this latitude and even doing this, Annie. I you don't know exactly what it means to me, but I'm very appreciative of it, and I'm honored that you were able to say yes and do this. I will always look back with more fondness because of everything that I got to share tonight, and I got to feel all the gamuts of emotions that I wanted to. So thank you for allowing that to happen.
The pleasure is mine. Mike is going to kill me if I don't ask this question, by the way. Mike, are you still there? Just say hi if you're still there. Okay, so
He's still here.
'cause over there in the feverishly with his red fingers. Mike Ashburner wanted to know if you have to seed and water your face like a chia plant to get such a stellar beard, or if it just grows naturally.
So it does grow naturally, but there's one thing that I do have to say. It wasn't always the case. I always, for a very long time, I never allowed anything to grow. I always shaved myself. I didn't like the feel of having a beard or a mustache or anything on my face. So for a very long time, I shaved every day. And then one day I was like, I'm going to change it and I'm just going to deal with it. And I've now allowed it to kind of grow and mature with me. So now it's just part of who I am. And now it's funny that for so many years, I got to tell you, I think for close to 42 years of my life, I didn't have any kind of facial hair. And now the thought of it not being there is crazy. It's weird. It's weird looking at myself sometimes. And I've done this on the live stream before, folks. So if you want to go check out our YouTube channel, and I'm going to send you there like Miss Yolanda Chin did, and is saying, I did at one point, I think it was 2 years ago, like shaved everything off and went live again. And it's one of those ones that you say, I'll go back and watch and cringe a little bit. It's watching it grow. So, but it has happened, and I don't think I'll ever do that again. But hey, I love it when I get to see somebody who can just be themselves, and if it's them feeling like they have their beard on and can share about it, or those sort of things, it's part of what you get to do as a person and as a creator. So, like,
Totally.
that's like saying Mike. I don't know. I think I've seen it without him, but like now him doing his live streams without his hat on.
Good job, Mike. That was a great question. I mean, that was I don't know, that was such a nice, well-rounded way to just, like finish off this conversation, wasn't
Finish
it?
it off.
We went super deep. We were like, oh man, dark stuff and self-care and going away so that you can have your alone time, to like blossoming with my beard.
Yeah. Yes. So other than that, thank you again, Annie. And I don't know if you want to make mention. I'll make mention of it, and then I'll let you close out the show. But tomorrow,
yes, wanted to obviously, if you are into this kind of vibe in the chat room and on screen, just so much love. Please hop over to Mike Ashebrainer's Hounds of Business Happy Hour, December 28th, 7 p.m. EST. What is Mike G doing over there on the right side? Is he a dog now? It's featuring the Hounds Pack Leader community. It's going to be such a loving environment. So many things to be said. I mean, look at all these smiling people. Look at these people. Look at it. Look at that redneck over there in the center with his bucket hat. Is that for real or is it costume like my LinkedIn?
I think it is real. So, all right. Thank you again, Annie. I do appreciate the opportunity, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in. So, she's going to end the show, guys. She's running it. This is the Annie Wu Unfiltered live show. So, thank you again. I will talk to you, I guess, tomorrow, everybody. Maybe. We'll see. So, it's all yours.
Amazing. Wow. Oh my gosh. I've always wanted to be on a 90s TV and it's happening right now. This is 90s, right? Yeah. LOL. Thanks, guys. His picture was bad and we didn't know what to do. So we put it on the dog. Oh. Anyway, this has been real, you guys. Really, really real. And obviously, if you want realer than real, you would hop over to the Mike's show. Man, tomorrow already. Can you believe that it's almost 2023? Isn't it crazy? My gosh, it's like a whole new world that's about to open up to us. So, with all of that, thank you so much for tuning in. It was such an amazing time. Thank you all for being so wonderful and supportive and beautiful. You guys are amazing. All of us, man, we're just going places. Going places. Going. Okay.